Welcome back, everybody, to the RS EU versus NA show matches. I am back. I am Hops. You've heard me before. I am whittling away with my voice. Don't apologize if you get a little bit of annoyed with me, but you're gonna have to put up with it. I'm joined by Senji, who is on the broadcaster, but now we have another very special guest from over the pond in that NA side, Mr. General Mills. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, HopX. You were hyping up that intro video. I hadn't actually seen that before, but EU's got some pretty sick beats there for that intro. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what EU brings to the table on the pitch as well today.
Yeah, well, we have an extremely interesting matchup here. Nezuko gang, if you're on the EU side, you will know that these guys are topping the Challenger League right now. Really strong sides, absolutely popping off. But on the other side of the pond, Paperboys General, tell me a little about this side, then we'll get into that coin flip.
All right, so Paperboys are coming in. They are at the top of the Lunar Conference Mountain Division in RSC NA. Coming in with a 19-21 record in a rather competitive conference here. They've got several teams all within 5 games in their division. So they're fighting hard to keep that playoff spot for that division lead. And this game won't count anything towards their playoff hopes, but they're going to want it to come out swinging, build some confidence, and get ready because this second half of the season is going to be a doozy for them.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And this is all for the bragging rights. But before we get and have a nice dive into the statistics, let's do that fated coin flip. So the coin flip means if you win the coin flip, you get to host the first 2 games on your side, on your server. If you lose the coin flip, you'll host the second 2. And if it does go to a game 5, the coin flip winner gets the host of the server. Let me remind you that if it has Europe on the actual screen, you'll see that Europe hosts it. If it's without Europe, the NA are hosting it. But Senji, click away. Let's see this coin flip. I wish we had a drum roll sort of sound. It would be great to have a drum roll whilst this plays. But it goes over to Europe once again. I promise you, Senji, tell me this is not rigged, because that is looking. This is not. I knew it. Doodle was immediately put rigged. Okay, well, Senji is confirming that it is not rigged. So we promise you guys this isn't rigged. But EU are hosting games 1 and 2. I spoke to HUDs previously in the previous game about this. But I'd like your take on it. What's your take on the servers and everything like that? How much effect do you think it has on the game?
Ooh, that's a tough question. So coming from NA, I'd say a lot more of our players are used to playing on higher ping simply because we do alternate a lot between East Coast and West Coast. And having been both an East and West Coast player myself in my time in RSC, I can say that playing from West Coast to East Coast isn't too much of a handicap provided you have a stable connection. There can be a little bit of lag here and there, but it doesn't throw you off too much. What I will be concerned about is if the Paperboys have anybody on the West playing today, because that means they'll be crossing not just 1, but 2 regions over to EU, and that could be a lot more difficult to play with, Hop.
Yeah, that'll be painful. I know. I don't think the DeLorean from Back to the Future is here, but they will. If that ping is that high, they will be transcending time and space with that lag. We do not want to see that whatsoever. But before we get into the game, let's have a look at some statistics. If we can get some team stats up, Senji Meister General, it'd be good to have a look at them on stream. But as we see here, I'll just do a quick overview of the Nezuko gang. They're first place in their separate league. They played 56 games and won 41 of them, only losing 15. An impressive stat line there. They've scored 85 goals, but only conceded 99, below that 100 mark. 188 saves, definitely being a good defensive sign, with 224 opponent saves to their shots, with only a 37% shooting accuracy. So the Nezuko gang, they are a very strong side, and they have got this consistent ability to counter-attack. But tell me about the Paperboys.
Well, first off, just to advocate for NA a little bit, I'd like to remind the viewers that these 2 teams are playing in completely different leagues, and the stats mean much, much less than some people might imply they do. Paperboys coming in with 88 goals for and 111 goals against, tend to give up a little bit more goals against their league. They have a impressive amount of saves compared to their goals against. Their shooting percentages are actually on par, and shooting percentage would be one of the few things I could see making a little bit more of a difference, being a little bit more pair between the two leagues, because that shows relative to your shots what kind of quality of shots that you're taking. Opponent saves 115 compared to Nezuko Gang's 224. It looks like the Paperboys are actually doing a pretty good job of preventing the opponents from getting those easy saves, putting those shots in hard to save places. But we'll see how that plays out against the new team that they've never faced before, Nezuko Gang.
Yeah, and I always feel like the first game of the series is the game at which teams really feel each other out. They'll kind of understand how each other play. But let's have a quick look at the player statistics. This will kind of give us a little bit more understanding of the roles that each player plays. And I'm going to toss it over to you first, General. Tell me about these Paperboy players.
All right, so Musa, a longtime streamer in RSC NA, seems to be a dedicated fourth man. We'll see if he's going to start out on the bench or if he's going to jump in and they'll make changes later. Sabrina, she is a very mechanical player, looks very good. We'll look to see her being aggressive, taking the shots here. But speaking of aggressive, I got to skip down to Thunda-esque, who's also very, very aggressive. Look at that shot percentage, 43%. Look for Sabrina and Croctopus to set him up to take his shots. Thunda-esque, I think, is going to be the player to watch for the Paperboys.
Yeah, definitely seeming scary. As I look at that stat line for Thunda-esque, I'm like, ooh, spicy. Definitely bringing the thunder. Anyway, moving swiftly forward after that joke. Nezuko Gang on the other side, Minty, Nazi, Pyro, Ujkan, and the guy that I want to point out is Ujkan. That man has a whole bunch of MVPs on his side for the his league, appearing on the RS cast for the EU side as the most MVPs and standout player for that first week of the RS cast. That man is a force, and he is a force in goal with 66 saves. A very strong player indeed. But on the other hand, we do have Minty. Minty, a very mechanical player, a guy who likes those aerials, likes those flip resets, doing things cheeky all over the place. Those for the Nezuko Gang are the players to watch out for. But we have got the players in the lobby. And Senji, can you do the honors and get the players on their respective teams? Because I know, and I'm sure General Mills, you agree, I want to get this game underway.
As much as I love hearing you top, I think that the viewers came to watch Rocket League, so let's go ahead and get this kickoff started. Here we go on the back kickoff here. Looks like it's going to be... There's Pyro joining now. Looks like it's going to be Pyro versus Thunda-esque on the kickoff to start.
Going to be interesting to see you kick off, but as I was saying, and I'm sure you agree, and I'm sure it happens in the NA scene as well, these first games are always like used for a bit of a feeler for the opposition. You kind of get to understand how they're playing, and I always like to believe that the first game isn't really indicative of how the rest of the series is going to play out.
No, I'd agree with that, especially the first couple minutes or so. You can often see things going a little bit slower as first the teams feel out, play a little cautious, and then they'll start speeding up once they feel comfortable that they can beat the other team to the ball, pull off those passes. And it looks like that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, it does look like it indeed. Thunder getting a nice clearance away from his own net, but Pyro is there to get a good challenge. Sabrina's last player, some back as she goes for a nice aerial, using those mechanics you spoke about, but Ujkan is there at the back as Thunder gets a nice demo onto Minty. Minty will come off respawn now, having to play a bit of defense. The ball comes flying across the goal of the side of Nezuko Gang. Minty right now trying to put some pressure onto Paperboys as he gets a pass over to the center. Ujkan able to get a shot away, but something I missed to mention, Nezuko Gang is Archeon's team. Archeon is the GM of that franchise, and Archeon is the leader of the RSC EU side of things. So he will be looking with keen eyes for his Nezuko Gang to put up a victory here.
So it's funny you should mention that, because from the NA side, the 8-Bit Brigade, which is Paperboy's team, is actually headed up by Fiend, who is one of the admins for NA.
So it's an admin versus admin game, this is basically.
I'm sorry, it was. Vera9 is now the the current one. It was Fiend last season.
Thunder
Thunder
putting in the first and goal. What a shot from him. A good setup from Sabrina as it goes off that backboard, but Thunder just slotting it nicely under Urge-can for that first goal. I mean, lovely goal there.
It was. Good positioning there from Thunder. You saw him actually on the far side, just over midfield, waiting for that pass that he knew was coming off the backboard. Put the defender in an awful spot. And the reply from Urge-can. Wow.
These players aren't slowing down, are they? I've got a gut feeling that this is going to be a rather high-scoring game.
We'll see if they keep up the aggressiveness or if they dial back and play a little bit more conservatively. Yeah, and Sabrina, she's looking like a force to reckon with. The player to set up that first goal for Paperboys. She's doing a fantastic job putting pressure now as Pyro is looking to get a clearance away from his core. Thunder is there, though, to put some pressure back onto the side as Urge-can coming off that backboard and trying to get a clearance away from his own half. A nice 50-50 in the air between Minty and how do you say that? Croxopus. I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing. But it is back and forth. It is that first game. It's tied 1-0 as we hit the halfway mark on the clock. You know, tell me, I want to hear your point of view on the side of Nezuko gang. How do you feel like they play? I'm seeing a lot of aggressiveness here. You got Pyro and Minty both pushing up. Minty playing and Urge-can too was all the way up there. That's given the Paperboys a little bit of time to push back on offense with a counterattack. Very, very aggressive from the Nezuko gang. I feel like that could come back and bite them if the Paperboys can get some big, strong clears out. Maybe have a man downfield waiting for a redirect.
Yeah, indeed. And Nezuko gang is known for being aggressive. You know, they like to push. They feel more comfortable on that kind of really high-paced adrenaline rush sort of gameplay. As you see Pyro completely thundering into Octopus right there, saying, no, you're not allowed to go for that dribble. You're going to get sent into the sideboard. And a huge
double commit here from Paperboys.
Big opportunity. A big opportunity.
Try to go off for it. Sabrina gets back in net. Thunder's been racing back to the net as well. Minty taking control. He's going to go up for it, hits the hit. He's going to go for another touch here. Croctopus, not sure what he's going to do here. Pyro gets tangled up with Sabrina. And the clear.
A nice clear coming out of the side of the
Paperboys. It's a save! Oh my god!
What happened there? The ball was just teasing us on that goal line, but somehow it did not go in. And the ball's now flying towards the goal. Croctopus has to make another touch, playing it over in his own corner. Minty there, putting another pressure on, and it's gone into the back of the net. Oh my god, that is devastating for Paperboys.
Wow, look at this shot. 64 miles an hour, or 103 for y'all across the pond. Man, look at that beautiful air roll shot to get that power on. That was an excellent shot by Minty.
That was a lovely shot, but I mean, how is Paperboys going to react if the fact that the ball was literally half in to the Nezuko gang's goal, and it didn't go in, and then they are immediately scored upon? That surely is going to affect them.
Oh, I mean, they're just going to have to forget about it. You got to have a short memory in this game, and they don't have that much longer to even press up and score. Look to see them get pretty aggressive here, because they have to take a goal from the Nezuko gang, but it's not going to happen. Pyro putting another shot in.
Yes, Pyro, this angle is also gnarly. Nezuko gang waking up and showing why they have scored so many goals in their respective leagues so far this season. So far it is so close, but Nezuko gang seems to be just edging it out just a little bit. But as we were saying at the beginning of this game, this is only game one. You know, these teams will gradually get more comfortable playing against each other, and this may be a completely different game in game two as we head into the final couple of seconds. As Urge-can looks for a cross, almost going to the back of the net, but Croctopus is there to make a save. Urge-can is going to try and kill it, but that is all but over, as it is impossible for Paperboys to get a victory here. It's just padding stats as Urge-can puts in a fourth goal, taking the victory 4-1 and win and victory in this series. First game of this series, taking themselves 1-0 up above the Paperboys. But, you know, it's still all to play for. This was only game one.
It was, but I am rather impressed with the Nezuko gang in that last minute or so. I don't think the Paperboys ever got out of their own half. Nezuko was constantly there, constantly challenging every single clear. And when Paperboys finally did get a good hit to half field, then there was a third man there to push it right back into the orange half. So Paperboys are going to have to look to get the ball out of their own half here. They're going to have to keep their defensive rotation solid. And it's going to be tough. They're going to have to keep the ball close, make some tough 50s to challenge, hopefully try and clear the ball to a person waiting as opposed to just trying to take it on your own or booming it, because booming it is clearly not working so far, not with Nezuko's speed of having the third man rotate back to midfield so quickly.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But a very impressive game all around. Nezuko able to take it 4-1. But, you know, I'm not counting out Paperboys just yet. I think they were so impressive. And, you know, if I was in Nezuko gang's place, I'd be quietly confident for the EU server. But if we went and we head into that NA server, I'm kind of going to be a little bit concerned because Paperboys, I feel, are going to be a different beast when they are hosting. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. But just before we head into this next game, General, I have to ask, what is that screen pic? What is that logo that you have above your name on stream? Because that is a sunset and a half.
That is one of my favorite sunsets. I took that picture out on a boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so...
Oh, that's a gorgeous photo. I had to ask, man. You know, you can't turn down and deny beauty like that. But the second game is underway, as we see immediately Nizuko game putting pressure onto the side of Paperboys. But the ball is in the Nezuko gang's half.
Oh, mistouch bump. Minty and Ujkan getting bumped in net, but oh man, that's a missed opportunity for the Paperboys. Couldn't get a guy there to put it in time.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for the Cyber Paperboys because actually I think Pyro unintentionally bumped the third man for Paperboys.
Oh, speaking of bumps, Ujkan can't quite get there. Wow.
What a finish. Paperboys coming back. They're like, nah, this is unacceptable that we lost that first game here, and Thunder's like, here's another goal. I want to come back into this. But a brilliant start coming out of Paperboys to take the first goal in this second game. And Sabrina has actually swapped off the Octane. A little bit of an interesting thing here. And that's the topic I did want to touch on during this NA EU show match is how much do you see players swapping their cars like mid-series in the NAs?
Oh, man. I'd have to say it's pretty rare. I think most people tend to stick with a car. I have seen some people start up scrims with one car, and if they're not feeling it, switch to another car, but mid-match is a whole nother ball game entirely. I don't think I've seen that too often in the NA side.
Because the hitboxes of each car does kind of help your play style. And do you think Sabrina's decision to swap over to the pickup is going to benefit her in any way?
Well, she clearly thinks so, and sometimes just thinking it is half the battle, but Ujkan coming in with the equalizer here against Croctopus.
Indeed, indeed. And it looks like you've got some fans in the chat with Kentucky Wildcats saying, let's go Thunder. So Thunder is definitely being supported here on the side of Paperboys. It's good to see some of the NA guys over here in the EU stream, and that's what we like to see, bringing RSC EU and NA together. I mean, as I was saying at the end of the previous series, that we are a family. As a shot goes on for Pyro, but Sabrina is there to collect it as it was not a powerful shot. Ujkan now doing an opportunity, putting it over into the center of Paperboy's goal. Croctopus is there, but does not need him. As Minty putting the pressure on once again, almost able to get a shot to wave, but Croctopus making a fantastic save once again. Now Sabrina with some space, flicking it over Ujkan, but Pyro challenging nice and early, almost able to do something. And Ujkan was looking onto that bump, onto Croctopus for the ball, but Croctopus able to read the bump very, very well.
Minty's backwards here. Croctopus is going to boom it back down. Can Croctopus follow up with another touch? He does. Ujkan blocks the center attempt. Sabrina over to Thunder. Pyro is going to interrupt that. Croctopus is there to put it right back over to the right side of the field.
Pyro now up Early, trying to get a touchdown for his teammate Minty, who actually pinches the ball high off the backboard for Paperboys, forcing Thunder to have to make an awkward clearance where Ujkan is waiting. But Thunder able to follow up really quickly as Ujkan does not manage his touch very well. Goes over to the center where Minty is waiting, and he does play it back to his own corner. 40 boosts remaining. He's not going to have much to do with it as he goes for that second touch, but does miss it. Ujkan is there to follow it up. Playing it over into the corner. Sabrina is there, going to have to get a nice booming clearance off the backboard as she's doing some aerial mechanics and does a brilliant job of getting a nice clearance with that aerial. And I'm really excited. I really want to see a bit of a double touch, a bit of a mechanical goal in one of these show matches this evening.
I would love to as well, and this might just be the one from how I would expect Minty, Sabrina, or Thunder could easily pull it off if given the opportunity. They've been looking very strong this past game. Pyro is going to put one towards Thunder. Back pass from Ujkan. Good touch there. Minty, is this the double that we were talking about? We're looking for it. There it is. It's right in the goal. Wow. They are listening to us, Hop.
I love that quite a lot. I mean, you know, usually it's caster cursing, but right now it was a caster blessing. Seeing that double touch that we so sorely asked for off the back of Minty. What a beautiful finish from him. But that does take Nezuko gang into a one goal lead above Paperboys with 1.5 minutes laying on the clock. And Minty again slotting another goal for Nezuko gang. It does seem like as soon as Nezuko gang get a whiff of blood, they just cannot stop scoring.
They do, and the Thunder, that's the second goal that I've seen in these two games that Nezuko has come out swinging off of the kickoff. Paperboys have got to be looking to play some defense here. As Croctopus cheats up, gets a good touch up center. The kickoff has just been crucial for Paperboys. They don't need to win it, but they just can't lose it.
And it is a bit of a pivotal moment. Yeah, the first kickoff of the game, or maybe the kickoffs in the first minute. Oh, Pyro putting another one into the back of the net. But as I was saying, the kickoffs in the first minute don't play too much of an effect because you have the rest of the game to play. But as we hit the later on rounds, you have to win those kickoffs because it just leads to goals like this. A complete counter-attack goal from the kickoff, and Pyro's able to slot it in. I mean, talk to me. What do Paperboys need to do to bring themselves back into this game?
Well, it's got to be 3 goals in 1 minute, and that's going to be a difficult ask. They're going to have to get really aggressive. We saw their first goal of the game come out from a bump. Haven't seen that much physical play here. I think it seems like they're almost turtling up here under the pressure that Nezuko is. Oh, the double touch from Sabrina puts it down. Thunder. Wow, they're pulling out all the mechanics now. Up.
Whoa. That was such a beautiful setup from Sabrina and then followed up by Thunder. That was, I mean, Minty's double touch was good, but that was being the goal of the game, or the goal of the evening so far off that team play. What a setup from Sabrina.
Wow.
I mean,
you know, Hop, it just makes me want to be back in Challenger now. I think I could hang with these guys.
I mean, you were talking about Sabrina's mechanics earlier. And I'm so glad that she was able to show them off. Just, you know, so far, now, it's only been once, and I'm sure we'll see more of it as her confidence goes. But that was beautiful to watch, indeed. But now, it is 2 goals, 15 seconds remaining. Are we going to see some more Sabrina magic? Or is that going to be it? It's 10 seconds happening, and they're going to have to score soon. But Minty does have it over in the Paperboys half. They do a really good job.
Looking for it.
Oh, he was looking for it, but Sabrina was there to shut it down. Come on, Thunder. Let's get another goal for this game. No, it's killed by the Nezuko gang to take the second game of this series. Nezuko gang go up 2-0 in the series so far after, you know, a brilliant set of goals. But now this is what I'm excited for. It's over to the Paperboys host and their server. How much of a difference do you think it will make for these guys in particular?
We'll see. Ujkan was having up in the 80 ping on an EU server. I might be a little bit worried about him, but the Paperboys up in the 130s or so for ping for these past 2 games. Hopefully it'll give them a little bit more confidence in their attack, maybe a slightly more precise touch to a teammate or putting it up in the top corner, although for some of them it doesn't seem to have hampered their ability to pull off some insane mechanical plays. And I think the mechanics, though flashy, aren't going to be the deciding factor. I think the Paperboys really just need to get their defensive rotations in order. At least 2 of the Nezuko gang goals came from double commits. on defense. They just need to sit back and relax instead of panicking if a ball is coming at them. And that's hard. That's very, very difficult to do. But you have to force yourself to trust your teammate when he's in net and he or she says that I've got this ball. You have to trust yourself that they're going to cover their part of the net and you cover your part of the net. And that way you don't double commit and leave the goal open for the next follow-up shot that's going to be coming. And with the way Nezuko gang has been playing, you know that shot's coming quickly.
Indeed it is. But, you know, Paperboys, as you were saying, I think it is those rotations that they need to touch up on. And that communication, make sure that what they're doing is consistent and concise. But just a few things in chat that, you know, that may make you smile. We have some really prominent members from the EU scene really hyping about how good Sabrina is mechanically. Sato being one of our top major players, known for his mechanics, saying that Sabrina is absolutely pog. Fane, being one of our GMs, is also saying that she is epic. So there's a lot of hype surrounding Sabrina, and, you know, fair play. And it's really impressive to see how she plays, and you know I'm wanting to see more, and I'm sure she produces so many highlights in the NA.
Yeah, hopefully she can produce a couple more highlights for us today, Hop, as players join into our NA lobby. As you mentioned, we'll get to see what the pings look like when they're flipped. See if anyone has any surprises in their home region server.
Quickly check DMs. Okay, Doki. Are you serious? Oh dear. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that now. However, we are in a lobby, and Tenji, can we get all the players onto their respective teams, please, so we can get this game underway? And you know, I'm interested. You know, Paperboys, they'll be confident. I mean, how much tilt do you think they'll be experiencing right now?
I think they'll stay pretty calm. We seem to have an uneven kickoff here. Interesting problem here. As Pyro is the only one on a diagonal for this. We'll see how we handle this, as Thunder's going to push up anyway.
Wow, Pyro came up quickly.
He had to.
Yeah.
He had to guess where it was going to go and commit to it. Block the open, obvious shot. That's going to put the Paperboys on a little bit of defense here, but they seem to have survived the initial push. Still need to get it outside of their half. Double commit from Minty, and Pyro gives them an opportunity to counterattack. Ujcan's all the way back. Sabrina off the wall, going for the air dribble, trying to get the dunk. It comes down to Thunder. Good positioning by him. Can't get it turned towards the goal, though.
Yeah, great opportunity by Thunder. Just getting, you know, getting unfortunate there, but Paperboys are breathing a little bit more life, giving some more attention and giving themselves more opportunities, as we've seen. But Sabrina with another card change. I mean, is she just going through a catalog here?
It must be. If one's not working, we'll switch to the other one. Pyro's going to come in, though, to get this good pass from Minty. Then Ujcan, three-person play.
Not much you can do there. I mean, the passing play kind of, you know, you take out a player each time you do a pass, and it just left Pyro with almost an easy finish for his side. But Thunder, an opportunity here, but Pyro able to get back and able to get a save away from that shot. Pyro now popping off the side, has only 30 boosts to work with, maybe going to look for a pass. What a dribble play, and goal! That would be amazing if that had gone in.
Sabrina flying out of nowhere for the save. Oh, he's going to put that. It's off the post. Croctopus can't get the bounce. Pyro hunting for a demo. Minty's up. Sabrina taps it up to the crossbar. Ujcan follows up with a shot. Man, Paperboys spent all their time to keep that out of the goal as long as possible. Wow.
Oh, wow. I mean, Nizuko gang, it seems like the ping is just not touching them. They just have come out of the gates swinging. They must have watched that first series and been like, okay, we've got to take one back for the EU, you know? It has to, I don't know what to say. Paperboys, they're playing really, really well.
What? Look how high. She was practically on the ceiling for this touch coming in. Wow. and bar down at that. Great aim. Any lower and Pyro would have had the save. Any higher and it wasn't going in.
What was that? I was talking some analytics because I thought I was going to go off the backboard. What was that angle? Pyro just locked another one in. Pyro, calm down.
Nezuko on the kickoffs yet again here. Thunder caught a little bit. If I was the Paperboys, I suppose I'd be having my third man take the corner boost and turn back towards the goal at this point, because having the aggressive turn up just keeps biting them here.
Indeed it does, and Sabrina almost trying to put Paperboys on.
Air dribble. Thunder. Oh! Wow.
I'm trying to drink water, Sabrina!
Quick reply here from the Paperboys. That's the say their quickest goal after a kickoff I've seen so far. And now that puts us only down 1 goal with 3 minutes to go. That's Minty screws up the kickoff. Ujcan's caught off guard too. Croctopus, he's got one in net trying to center it.
I mean, I'm still rather dumbfounded with those goals. We just saw 2 back-to-back highlight goals, all coming from Sabrina and then Thunder slotting in that second one. A demo coming out, Sabrina onto Pyro in the net, so there is an opportunity here, but Minty does a good job of clearing it. Pyro now within a shot onto the goal, but Sabrina once again doing that clearance. She is playing lights out Rocket League right now, really performing incredibly well. Cox was getting a dunk, almost playing it over the top of Pyro, but able to get a touch. Thunder now with a positive
control
shot. But Minty goes for an early challenge, and that does catch Thunder off guard. And what an angle. Sabrina has not, her shot accuracy is incredible. She is not missing.
Oh man, but she needs more opportunities to shoot those accurate shots. This Nizuko gang actually not able to keep the ball on the orange half again here. Paperboy's doing a lot better clearing the ball, staying on offense. It looks like actually Nezuko gang has been on defense more for the past minute than the Paperboys.
It does look like it indeed. And I mean, I'm just quickly looking at the shots. The shots are in favor of Nezuko gang, but that was after the first, minute blitz of shots right now. Ever since then, it's been Paperboys playing, a very strong catch-up. And so it's good to see as Pyro puts the ball across the goal. Almost Ujcan getting there. But once again, who else but Sabrina makes that clutch touch. She is so impressive. I mean, can you send her over to the EU for us, her to play in our challenger for a bit?
I don't think she'd place into your challenger, at least not anymore. Wouldn't be surprised to see her go up to minor, even major at the end of this season. Agreed.
I mean, I think someone did put in chat. Yeah, Senji actually put in chat. Okay, not gonna lie, that girl is amazing for challenger. So, definitely performing at a higher level. And the kickoff goal goes to Ujcan, but that's been the thorn in Paperboy's side throughout the whole time. These kickoffs. I mean, they just don't seem to have it, have it set.
No, and that looked like a slight mistouch on the kickoff from Croctopus. Flipped just a little bit off to the side as opposed to towards center, and that gave just a slim chance there for Nezuko gang to send it into the goal, which is not something you normally see. A lot of teams will go for a kickoff and they'll be going to put it towards a specific side. Man, Pyro with the aerial goal off the wall. This ping is not hampering them at all.
It is crazy, but there is an interesting thing to bring up here. Ping can not, it does be a detriment, but it can also benefit you in circumstances such as the kickoff. If your ping is really high, you have that kind of, the server doesn't know exactly where to place the car, and so sometimes it can place your car in a better, more optimum position than it would be if you'd had lower ping. So Rocket League is slightly unique in that circumstance, and so maybe Ujcan getting a little bit lucky with his ping being so high and getting that kickoff goal because his car was not where he thought it was.
Wow. Yeah, this has been a crazy game here. Just to remind the viewers who don't have the scoreboard handy at their fingertips, Pyro is playing with 124 ping. Sabrina says she's not going to go down without a fight. Off the ceiling. Look at that. Thunder back to Sabrina. Redirect straight into the goal.
I mean, you know what I'm laughing at, General? Senji in the background is making squeals of joy every single time Sabrina makes a touch, and I don't blame her. I mean, she is incredible. I mean, I'm sorry, this is coming from the EU caster here. NAGMs pick her up to play in the minor league. She deserves the spot. I want to see her there when I tune into that stream. But 1 second remaining. It is 60, and the Nezuko gang are going to take this series 3-5 in this best of 5 series. But I mean, you know, that's not really, I feel, indicative. You know, yeah, they won all 3 games, but Paperboys, a very strong showing from them. But I think the main thing that I'm going to take away from this is that you can't talk about Paperboys without talking about Sabrina. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and Thunder as well. He showed his skill earlier in the game, and his goal scoring capability for the Paperboys. Croctopus playing a solid third man to back them up. Paperboys looking, they can walk away proud of this. I'm sure they want a couple of those shots back, a couple of those touches, but playing against a team like Nezuko gang, that was a tough afternoon for any team.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, you know, it wasn't free for Nizuko gang. It really wasn't. They really had to work for all those goals. And actually, we saw every single goal scored in that series was a blindingly good goal. You know, it was very few opportunistic shots, as I like to call them. You know, the free clearances. And yes, we had that kickoff goal, but most of them came from some passing plays, some brilliant mechanics. And so it was, you know, it was hard fought. But, you know, General, before we do go to break, because that series was over rather quickly, I'd like you to do, you know, a quick breakdown of actually Nezuko gang. You know, and I may do that, you know, I may do one for Paperboys from just what we saw in that series. So Nezuko gang, you know, what is their play style, and how do you feel like they you know, they matched up against Paperboys?
So they had a really strong team. I'm going to say first the kickoffs. Paperboys throughout the entire match couldn't figure out how to block Nezuko's quick kickoffs. They'd send the ball off to the side, they send it towards the Paperboys corner. No matter where the ball went, Nezuko was pressing almost as quickly as possible, and they must have been 4 goals off of kickoffs within the first 15-20 seconds. They just start off on the right foot, and then they keep the ball in the opponent's half until it goes in. The second key for Nezuko gang, I think, is Minty's mechanics are insane. His aerial car control, very, very good. And he uses it very effectively to set up his second touch on the ball. I think that's the key. He gets his first touch, that causes the Paperboys challenger to commit. And then you have Minty following it up to get a 50 that the Paperboys player didn't expect, or he'll even beat the defender to the ball, get it by them with his second touch, and that'll set up the second man from Nezuko gang to take a shot on the goal. So that's very strong offense from Nezuko gang.
Yeah, and you know, on the side of Paperboys, I mean, I was so incredibly impressed with their you know, in that game 1, their rotations. It was extremely clean, and it wasn't very often that they were caught off guard, and actually fewer double and triple commits than we saw in the previous series. So I was really impressed with that, and they obviously have some really clean communication, because we saw some fantastic passing goals. That in particular one, the setup from Sabrina down to Thunder, one stands into my mind, and I think that was really impressive. And you know, and secondly, I would also like to mention when they have an opportunity, if you give them an inch, they take a mile. You know, as soon as they found a little chink in Nezuko gang's armor, they scored. You know, there was never a moment at which, you know, if a mistake was made by Nezuko gang, they were going to be scored upon. And that comes down to some brilliant cohesion and brilliant play, but also, you know, as I'd like to mention against Sabrina, incredible mechanics from her indeed. But you know, I think that does bring us to the end of this second series. Unfortunately, it was a 3-0 sweep, and General, I'm sad that I'm going to see you leave. I mean, I'm almost tearing up here.
Feels like I just got here, Hop.
I know.
But it's been good casting with you. You know, the time went too quickly, and you know, maybe we'll be on another stream in the future. Who can tell?
Yeah. I would like that. You know, I would like to have more NA and EU show matches so I can cast with you brilliant NA casters again. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything you want to plug prior to the break that we head into?
Nothing other than I don't think RSCNA is out of this quite yet. I'm looking forward to seeing what the third match of today brings.
Yeah, it is going to be exciting indeed. Next up, guys, we have the decider for the kind of the 3 series between EU and NA, and it is a big one. 2 elite teams, the Otakus from the Nezuko franchise on the side of EU versus the Demoniacs. I'm butchering that. From the Asylum franchise on the NA side. Both these teams super hot, super good, super consistent, super mechanical, and this is going to be one hell of a game. So guys, don't go anywhere. Grab yourself some coffee, grab yourself some water, grab yourself some food. Please be right back for some more RSC EU versus NA action.
You know it.